So because it's our 50th episode, we decided to do something special. We're going to talk about our favorite games of each Xbox generation, going from Xbox Classic, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and the Series. Ooh, what are our favorite games on each console? They don't have to be exclusives, but maybe need to feel a bit like Xbox centric. You know, you don't really want to pick like a PlayStation game that being ported. You know what I mean? So I would say, like, you know, third party games are cool as well. I'm going to be honest, the Xbox Classic, Xbox 360 is super easy. Xbox One is a bloody nightmare. I can't think of what game I want to pick for the Xbox One at all. It's so hard. But yeah, we're going to get into it. My favorite game of the original Xbox generation, I think you probably know, and I think most people know, it's pretty damn obvious. It is Halo Combat Evolved, because of course it is. Halo's amazing, and that's the reason I'm an Xbox fan. And yeah, Halo Combat Evolved is still one of the best first-person shooters ever made. It has one of the best stories in first-person shooters, like environmental storytelling. Spoilers for like a 20-year-old game, The Flood. Ooh, meeting the Flood for the first time and all that, and there's a couple of plot twists and stuff in it. It's such a good game. Oh, I love it, and it started off a fantastic trilogy of games. And, you know, and it's still going now. It's not as good as it used to be, but Halo Combat Evolved, masterpiece. One of the greatest games ever made. Definitely the best Xbox exclusive, that's for damn sure.
Well, mine's actually pretty close, though.
Is it 2?
Yes. Halo 2.
I thought you were going to say 2.
Oh, well, why did you think of that then?
Because I don't know. I feel like they're very close, aren't they? I think I prefer the first one myself, but 2's good. You got the multiplayer, you got the twist of. I mean, again, spoilers for like a 20-year-old game. Let's just say you change characters halfway through the story of Halo 2, and I think that's pretty rad. I'm not going to go into too much detail. You change it to Abby. Let's just say that.
But anyway,
you go. It's your game. Your game. You tell me about why you like it, because I took over.
Because I originally played Halo Combat Evolved as a demo, which I got at the Xbox in like 2002, and I think it's when I was playing like Halo. Like, it was really cool, and it's something I would definitely get, but I haven't got around to buying it. But it wasn't until like 2004 when I got Halo 2 for Christmas, and I was really blown away by the fantastic campaign, which I certainly enjoyed playing it, and I even like went through the Arbiter missions. Like, it's a huge graphical update and has so many interesting parts, which, funny enough, I haven't actually played Combat Evolved to know what it is, and it wasn't until like I played it on the Xbox 360, the remastered edition, I get to learn about the original. But the Combat Evolved is just like really good, and it has like some simple game multiplayer. But when it comes to Halo 2, it's just like doubled. Even though it's been like rushed and didn't have the best content, like people are still pissed off about the ending to Halo 2.
Yeah. What are you doing on that ship? Finishing this fight. And you go, dun, dun, and then the credits like, no! What do you mean finishing the fight, goddammit?
Yeah.
It's a cliffhanger though, I love it.
I was already spoiled when I saw those reviews and there's people like moaning about it. And then when I saw it, it's just like, yeah, okay, that's a bit abrupt. Because I thought we were about to go to the last mission, but never mind. But I think the best thing about it is to do the online multiplayer, which I did manage to, I believe, whether I got online multiplayer that time around, or I don't know if it's next year, but when I get into like Xbox Live and played it, that's when I have a best experience of Xbox Live, because you have the voice chat, you have like custom games, and the community there is just like so lively compared to the recent games. Like, it's so easy to find friends. It's so easy to find custom games. So we played a lot of hide and seek, and the maps they bring out are like so fantastic. I literally played on it like so often, like on every like every day, every month, and it just lasted for the entire year. Like before the achievements and even like all the Xbox 360 features, Halo 2 still entertains me for many months and never get bored of it. So it's just like utterly fantastic. And seeing this is the first Halo game, it's just very impressive. I did delay on like getting Halo 3, and that one's good. So I think it's just like all the good parts about this game, and it's just how you perfectly introduce the people to this whole franchise. But I suppose Halo purists would probably still say Combat Evolved to being the best game for anyone.
I'd say Combat Evolved is my favorite on the original Xbox, but Halo 2 is also fantastic. So I can't really blame you for saying Halo 2 at all. Yeah. Do you want to know what my favorite 360 game is? Because it's gonna be seeming like we've got a bit of a pattern going here.
Yeah, sure.
But my favorite game on the Xbox 360 is Halo 3. So we've just got Halo Combat Evolved, a.k.a. Halo 1, Halo 2, and Halo 3. Halo 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. It is a masterpiece. It finishes the fight. It wraps up the story of the first trilogy. As far as I'm concerned, it's like the best trilogy in video games, and I don't care what anyone says. The multiplayer was fantastic. I still play it to this day. It still holds up. I just love everything about Halo 3. It was like the first proper. Like what you said about Halo 2 was how I felt about Halo 3. That was like the first multiplayer game I really got into, and I spent days and days playing it. I used to love that game so much. Oh, I love it. Forge mode and custom games and party chat and playing with my friends and unlocking like the Hayabusa armor and doing like legendary with like all skulls on. There's so many good stuff in Halo 3. It's such a good game. And it's like, I still to this day think Halo 3 is the best first person shooter ever made, and they will never be beaten, because ever since microtransactions came in, it's kind of ruined the first person shooter scene. I think it was the pinnacle of what shooters could do, personally, and I don't think it'll ever be topped, personally. And that is my favorite game of the Xbox 360 generation. And I'm curious what yours is. And is it going to be another Halo game?
Halo 3, I haven't got into it until like October 2007. And when I got into it, it's just like, multiplayer is really good. I think it brings some interesting features. I haven't played as much of the multiplayer there because I was like in university and trying to focus on work. And I've also been dabbling with a few other games, including Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. But yeah, it's just, I have to say, story of it, I don't know how this really compares to Halo 2, but it has a lot of like emotional moments, including the ending.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's just really stays with me for quite some time. So it's really good. To me, Halo Reach is definitely the favorite of this generation to do with the Halo games, because I know it's like grittier than Halo 3, but it refines gameplay, and as Bungie's last title, it definitely like brings out the best in this gameplay. It brought so many cool features like Firefly and Forge, and it just feels like it's a huge, like, it's an ultimate Halo game. That's also like a huge swan song of Bungie before they decided to leave Microsoft.
Makes me sad, that does, yeah. Also, I'd say Halo Reach is the best Halo game to show someone as like a standalone Halo game, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
Because like I feel like if you show someone Halo 3, they have to have really played 1 and 2 to get what's going on. Whereas you just give them Halo Reach, you get a complete story from start to finish. You get to meet new characters, and you get to see their struggles, and you get to live through their like the history and stuff. So you get like a whole start and finish to a story with Halo Reach, and it's a prequel, so it's cool.
Well,
is that your game of the?
No, it's not the game of the generation, actually.
Okay, I was going to say, phew, it's just going to be a Halo fest.
I do need to mention that this is where I own a lot of games, including physical, the Xbox Live Arcade. And so I've been trying out lots and lots of different games, which even though back then I was being more of a completionist, so I only buy games which is easy enough to get all the achievements. But once the Xbox One came over, it's just like, forget it. There's no point being the completionist anymore, especially the Gamepass, like letting me like try out so many things. So I've been like playing all sorts of games, and it gives me the chance to try out like The Witcher 2, which I thought there's a PC-centric series, but that's until they brought it over to Xbox. I played tons of like Civilization Revolution, Sonic Unleashed, and I also played a bunch of other games, which even though I did went over to PlayStation 3 and like tried titles too, but then I think, to be honest, that this is the one generation where I tried so many games across all platforms, and that includes the Nintendo Wii.
Same.
Now, for this one, does it have to be like first-party titles, or it can be third-party titles?
Third party, as long as it's on an Xbox, you know. Obviously, don't say like Breath of the Wild or anything, because that's not on an Xbox.
Well, for this one, I'm going to pick a title that is something I have not played enough of, but I do know for sure that this is definitely like a huge hit, and it actually is tailored for everyone. I was going to say, well, actually, it just kind of makes me think, because I was originally thinking of Mass Effect, which I placed as an honorable mention because it's a third-person shooter that follows up to Gears of War, but it gives out so much complexity with storytelling that it allows for so many dynamics, and it gives you like a lot of personal experience with it. And I think it's just really amazing. It was published by Microsoft, but then they went over to EA, BioWare, and that's when they brought over Mass Effect 2 and 3. For those who are like got so into like Mass Effect and spent so many hours with it, they end up like being able to make a huge experience out of it and be able to make their decisions matter, which I feel is really impressive. What's really good is that they had a remastered edition, which is out on like Xbox, which is also on Xbox Series X and S. So you get to try it out, really, if you have a space.
So is your game of the generation Mass Effect?
No, it's actually Skyrim.
Oh, yes.
Saying it's actually now owned by Microsoft because of Bethesda buyout.
Yes.
Skyrim is my game of the generation.
Oh, I don't blame you. That was one of the ones I was like, because when we get to the Xbox One generation, I was like, "Ooh, Skyrim's one of my favorite games of the Xbox One." So wait, no, that came out on 360.
Yes,
I was like, Grand Theft Auto 5. That's one of my favorite games of the generation. Oh wait, that came out on Xbox 360. Oh, the Halo Master Chief Collection. Oh, they're all Xbox 360 games. Like that's literally what kept that Minecraft. That's an Xbox 360 game as well. Like, no! Like, every game on my list is like, it actually originally came out on Xbox 360. I'm like, God damn it.
Well,
that's why I'm struggling. Skyrim is an amazing game, though.
Yes.
Absolutely adore it.
And I got, I think I was introduced to Elder Scrolls with Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. And this one for me is that I got, when I got the Xbox 360, I was like trying out lots of earlier titles, and I was like, maybe I would try out Oblivion because people are like saying good things about it. So I went over, bought that. It's a bit buggy and maybe more nervous of playing the game, but it still has an environment and a lot of fun stuff with it. Skyrim, however, is more PC-centric, well, console-centric because of the interface. And they seem like try to take the best parts from Fallout and apply it to this game, which the user experience is not that fantastic. But it's definitely the one that I certainly enjoyed more of the experience compared to Oblivion because it gets the graphics right, it gets the style good, and it also has so many of the good things that I first played on PC, got lots of really interesting mods for it, which I got over it, and it's just like so good. It just boosts the whole experience, and that includes a bug patch, unofficial bug patch. But when we were talking about like Skyrim like about 1 or 2 years ago, it's just like, I think I'm just gonna go and like get Skyrim on the Xbox Series X, I believe. And I've been playing it for weeks, and it's the first time that I got all the achievements, and that includes the Oblivion Walker, which is often like really buggy, but I'm happy to get all of the achievements, which includes DLC as well. So, and I still get a huge satisfaction from playing like Skyrim on any platform. It's so good.
It's such a good game, Skyrim. Like, I'm not a huge fantasy fan. I'm more of a sci-fi person, and even I'm like, oh, Skyrim's amazing. Like, Skyrim is like the game that got me into fantasy games. Like, it was like my gateway. I really love it. It's such a good game. Yeah, like it's on 360. It's on the Xbox One. It's on the Series X. It's on my Switch. Got it on my laptop. Got it everywhere, and it's just a fantastic game. That makes me so excited for Starfield. Like, as much as Redfall was a disappointment, I'm really hoping Starfield is going to be Skyrim in space. That's all I want. Fingers crossed. I'm so excited for it.
Let's just hope it won't end up like Redfall.
Redfall. Yeah, me too. Fingers crossed. Yeah, as you were saying about Oblivion, I never got into Oblivion. My friend used to play it a lot, my friend Dean. I'd be over his house playing it, and he'd be like, the NPCs just came across really weird. You just like stare at the camera. It's like, hello, how are you today? I am fine. It's like, what the hell is this And it's like, they all got the same voice, and it just freaked me out. I thought it was really uncanny valley Oblivion. Was never a fan of Oblivion.
Oh, that's one of the funnier parts of the game. It's just like,
yeah, it was too much. I didn't like it. It creeped me out. It was like, no. But I like Skyrim. Oof. Yeah, I think like Skyrim, they fixed that. Even though you do have like the stop right there, criminal scum.
I was going to say that. You
still get that occasionally. It's like, I once had an arrow shot in the knee. It's like, ha, funny. But it's just
I'm well and happier, but a belly full of mead. I used to be a adventurer like you, but then I have an arrow to my knee.
Great game. I'm glad
what's the matter? Has someone stolen your sweet bun?
As much as I love Halo, I'm glad that there's a game in our games of the generation that's not Halo. It's the first one. Yay!
Well, I'm sure you're not going to be surprised anytime soon when we get to the other two generations.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, so speaking of which, I guess it's my turn to pick a Xbox One generation, right?
Yep.
Oof. This is the hardest one. As I said, Minecraft, I was like, that's my favorite game I played on Xbox One. Again, it's a 360 game. Grand Theft Auto 5, Skyrim, all these games I used to love, and I played them all on the Xbox One more than I played them on anything else. Honorable mention, Gears of War 5. Game's great, beautiful, but again, it's better on the Series X. The game I'm going to pick, Ori, Will of the Wisps. That game was beautiful. And it's a Metroidvania. It is beautiful.
I haven't actually tried this game.
Oh, it's so good. It's the most beautiful. It's like a 2D platformer, Metroidvania exclusive to Xbox. Well, it's on Switch now as well, but it was originally exclusive to Xbox, and it's so beautiful. And I would highly recommend it to anyone who likes 2D platformers. Yeah, it seems like almost like a cop out to say the game of the generation is like a little indie game, but it's such a good, beautiful game, and I highly recommend it.
I consider that to be a Microsoft game anyway. So
yeah,
because it's like
also
published by
Microsoft,
and then it's like on Steam and Switch, but it's still a Microsoft game for sure.
Yeah, highly recommend it. Go try it out. It's a lot of fun. It's on Game Pass, and it's just a nice, chill game. And yeah, I said it's kind of an indictment of that generation, because that generation that was like the best game, and it wasn't even like pushing the performance or anything of the system or anything. You know what I mean? But I really enjoyed it. I really loved it. So yeah, that is my game of the Xbox One generation, I think. Also, honorable mention: Forza Horizon 4 is also a really pretty game. And so is Gears 5. So there you go. Your choice. What is your Xbox One game of the generation?
It's easier for me because I've already played a bunch of Xbox One games, which in reality, I haven't played that many Xbox One games. But then again, I used to get obsessed with PlayStation 4, but moved over to Xbox. And I have like there's a Wii U, but I haven't got so many games for it. Even though I got some really good ones like Splatoon and Mario Maker. But
same.
I certainly got into like XCOM 2, the Halo Wars 2. That's a really solid first party title, which is, even though it's not really that overly great. And I think it's the first generation where I got into Gamepass, which I tried different games on it as well as like playing some like niche titles like Dragon Ball Fighter C and Blaze Blue. So I think it's just like lots of good ones. But my pick of this generation is, and that's by Microsoft. It's Killer Instinct.
Ooh, that's a good one. I didn't think of Killer Instinct.
I played a lot of Street Fighter games, and I played a bunch of beat 'em ups. But I would have to say for the fighting game, Killer Instinct is just like so fantastic. It's got music.
Ultra combo.
Yes, it's got some excellent music by Mick Gordon. He's a fantastic composer who brings out some sick hits, and it delivers some amazing fighting gameplay, which really builds upon the arcade classic. Even though it's like it's a game by Rare and it hasn't been spoken a lot much, but it still like offers like really fantastic gameplay, and I certainly enjoyed it. I also got a arcade stick for the Xbox, still works, and still like really enjoy playing fighting games with it, and that includes Killer Instinct. But it offers this fantastic, but it still offers that really fantastic experience, which is why that when the Strider comes out on the Xbox One, which is by a different developer or publisher, I don't know, but it's got that same kind of feel as like Killer Instinct, and it's like, wow, sick remake, because I'm just like, oh, I'm just really interested in some like Mega Drive stuff, so it's really cool.
I didn't see that coming. That's a really good pick. I really like that. I feel like they need to make a sequel to Killer Instinct. I want Killer Instinct 2. I want a Killer Instinct 2, the same gameplay, same everything, and then just go, and here's Master Chief, here's Senua, here's Marcus Phoenix. Let's just make it Super Smash Killer Instinct, or Killer Instinct versus Xbox.
Well, actually, in this game, there's already some like characters from other franchises, and that includes the Arbiter, the General Ram, and even like Rash from Battletoads. And then you'll be thinking like, oh, it's going to have Master Chief and bits like that. But the closest you ever get to it is something like that in Dead or Alive 4. But it's actually a Spartan fighter who's actually a female who happens to be Spartan 4, 5, 6 or some sort.
Yeah, I used to love that game as well, Dead or Alive 4. I love fighting games. I don't know why I didn't think of Dead or Alive. Killer Instinct, that's such a good game. Killer Instinct, though, highly recommended playing it for you guys. Put Banjo-Kazooie in Killer Instinct 2.
Well, the closest you can get is Rare Replay, and that's where you get those games.
Shout out to Rare Replay and Master Chief Collection and stuff as well. Some of the best games on Xbox One were just collections of 360 and classic games, which is hilarious to think. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so this, I guess we're on to the Xbox Series X now, the current generation. So take this with a pinch of salt, people, because we've still got a good 4 or 5 years of this generation left. Starfield might stick the spot. Halo 7, or I don't know. My game of this current generation so far, because we're early in the generation, is Elden Ring, because of course it is, because I'm obsessed with that game. It was my game of the year last year. I love it so bloody much. It's the only Souls game I've ever beaten, and I adore it. And I want to go back and play it again at some point, but I'm too scared. It is fun, though. I love it. I love just shooting things with my lasers, bloody staff.
I haven't played Elden Ring.
Oh, you need to. It's so good. It's
Probably
amazing.
wait for it to go on sale.
It's one of the best games I have ever played. Ever. It basically takes Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games of the last decade. I feel like this is like the darker version of Breath of the Wild with like more modern, like Dark Souls kind of like gameplay and stuff. So that's why I'm really looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom, because Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games. So, but yeah, Elden Ring's so good. I love Elden Ring so much. It's such an amazing game, and I'm kind of sad that I've already beaten it now. I kind of think I should try and go back when I've forgotten most of it and try and play it from scratch again. I think that'd be fun. That game is so good. But yeah, game of the generation so far, Elden Ring. Shout out to Vampire Survivors. Shout out to Hi-Fi Rush. Those games are also fantastic and deserve a shout out. And Resident Evil 4 Remake, even though it's a remake, so maybe I shouldn't count it. But there you go. Yes. There you go.
I would have to say that this generation is a bit confusing, because quite often you get games like really like overlapped with each other, because some of the Xbox Series S and X are also available in like Xbox One. And
that's true.
I don't know if I have to be really precious to say like I'm gonna pick only like Xbox Series S and X, but then some of the games I may pick are also available on like Xbox One, which is why anything that is released after 2020 is definitely goes into that generation.
I think that counts. If this game, the game that you're picking, came out on Xbox Series at the same time it came out on the older consoles, then cool. If it's a port of an old game, then maybe not. But if it came out at the same time, I'd say that's cool. I'm cool with that. I'll take that. Yes, 2020.
So, the game of this generation, the Xbox Series S and X, is Hi-Fi Rush.
Ooh, I thought you were going to say Vampire Survivors. Wow, Hi-Fi Rush. Very, very good choice.
Well,
love Hi-Fi Rush.
I would say that Vampire Survivors is an honorable mention. But I think it's just a game that is just like, gets more repetitive as you get into it, and you just feel that you would rather do it for the achievements. But I think it's just like, it's very simple enough that you can go around and like kill all the stuff. And even though you have like strategies and bits, but you have to like got the secrets for you to go through and get to it. But I think to me, it's just like, you'll end up like spending lots of hours at first and getting to unlock all the characters and get the best for them. But once you like already know how to beat the game, it just gets, you just end up running out of juice. So I kind of just compare this with Animal Crossing, like New Horizons, because it's really fantastic. You love it for hours, but once you get into it, you just like lose steam. I think what really kills Animal Crossing New Horizons is that you cannot make more islands. It's tied to a single switch, which means once you had enough of the island, you can't actually make a new game unless you delete your save. And I'm not really prepared to lose my island with all the stuff that I've been collected, even from my friends. It's just like, it's just really bad.
I agree. And I was going to say, like, Vampire Survivors is more like a crack addiction. It's just, you just use a drug. It's just like, more Vampire Survivors sticking into my veins. Whereas Hi-Fi Rush is just like, I played it through twice, got most of the achievements, and it's just like, it was just a fun game. It was pretty. It had really good stories. I love the characters. I think it's a really good choice. Chai is a great character, and I think all the characters in it are really cool.
But what really works is that it's really fantastic. I love the style that's associated with it. And it's just like, it's more like a cartoon, and the self-shaded stuff is great. Also gets the balancing right to do the hack and slash, and the stages are like a lot of fun. And even you can like have fun moments with the enemies. That it's cringe, but it doesn't get that really cringe. And
I agree.
And it's just it just gives you so much fun. Like if it has to be like really realistic, like Forspoken, then it just gets more stale. But Hi-Fi Rush is just like a well-polished game, gets the hack and slash parts right, And it just makes me hope for the future where they can either get sequels out of it or do more hack and slash games. Because how they did the gameplay on this is just so amazing.
So that's our games of the generation, I guess. So should we just go through it real quickly? So Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3. So the Halo trilogy, boom, games of the generation. We all knew that. Great. Skyrim, hell yeah, amazing game. Love it, amazing. Ori, Will of the Wisps. What was your... I'm trying to think what the Xbox One game now was. What was your Xbox One name again? Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct. And then Elden Ring, Hi-Fi Rush. Boom. If you're an Xbox fan, those are the 8 games you should play. And to get into the Xbox ecosystem, I think they're the most important games on the system. If you go, I played one Halo game, I played them all. No, you have to play all 3 Halo games. You have to play them all from start to finish. That is the rules of being an Xbox fan.
So, the one... But if you have to play only one game of all the Xbox systems, and you can get it on Game Pass, it's Blinks the Time Sweeper. Play it.
Hey, boom. I thought you were going to give me a serious answer there, because I was going to say probably Skyrim. If you had to pick out of all those games, if you could only play one of them, I would say Skyrim would probably be the one that get you the most time and value and money out of. I would say would probably be Skyrim.
I agree.
Even though I prefer Halo, but you know. Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.